So the goal line system that the Premier League uses is £250,000 to install for, at each ground. So in terms of costs, I think £250,000 could probably be spent in better places in the WSL right now. I don't think there are enough of those goal line moments to justify that cost at the moment. I think the other thing you've got is we've seen a lot of the WSL teams don't play in one ground over the course of the season. Sometimes they'll go into the men's team stadiums. Sometimes they're at their home grounds in inverted commas that are generally kind of maybe lower league or club teams facilities, and that's tricky. If that club isn't in a league that is using goal line technology, it's not their place to kind of install that. City were playing away this season. Man City are lucky in that they've got their own ground at the Etihad campus, the Academy Stadium. I think Leicester play all their home games at the King Power. Aston Villa played at Villa Park today, which would already have goal line technology fitted. But what you can't have is 1 week at the WSL where 2 or 3 teams are playing at Premier League grounds and 3 games have goal line technology and the other 3 don't. And so I think that's tricky. So for me, along with the cost, 250 grand or the logistics of it, for me, I think the money could be spent in a better way. And I think that just logistically it doesn't work. We all see how silly it is, with the Carabao Cup, where, there's VAR in some rounds at some grounds, but not at others. And it just doesn't work. It makes a mockery of the competition. So for me, I think the WSL is ready for that, for those reasons.
When you think of it practically, I think you're correct. And I think if you were Leicester, for example, Crystal Palace, who are struggling in relegation, but if it was a choice of, if you gave the fans a vote and said, right, would you rather take a big signing for £200,000, £250,000 and have a top player or goal line technology, I bet you most would vote. If they had to choose between one or the other, they would vote for a player. So if you gave Leicester City an example, they wanted to buy Beth England, have a real goal for it, they'd take that over goal line technology. But hopefully, like I said, come the summer, as the women's game gets more commercial, more popular, hopefully in the not too distant future, they'll be able to afford it. It'll just be a given, won't even be a question. And I suppose you think the budget typically for a WSL team was about a year ago was roughly between £2 to £4 million for an operating budget to the top teams. Let's say Chelsea operating at about £4 million a year budget, where the lower teams were £1.5 million, £2 million at the most. So you think that's a big part of the budget, £250,000. So right now, logistically, economically, it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we know that's a one-off cost, but for some clubs it might not be. Like I said, it might be a one-off cost for Man City, who play in the same home ground every week. But for other teams who maybe play 2 or 3 of their games at the men's team stadium or at a main stadium and then play the rest of the games at another, it's not fully feasible. Yet maybe one day, I mean, like I said, for me as well, I just don't think we see enough of those incidents to really warrant it. I mean, actually, I wonder if, just kind of an idea out there, do you remember like quite a few seasons ago in Europe, they had like an assistant referee next to the goal, and I wonder whether that couldn't be a solution.
Temporary solution.
Yeah, like a temporary solution for the next kind of 4 or 5 years until more teams maybe have their own stadium or have a stadium within the complex of their clubs, like Man City do, that would allow them to make that a permanent fixture. I don't see why. I mean, I think that's something that could be implemented for the next round of games if they wanted to.
Yeah, it seems a way more affordable solution and a realistic solution for the foreseeable future until the time's right. Yeah.